And to be quite frank with you, I kind of enjoyed beating Matt LaFleur twice a year.
There's a lot going on in the U.S. right now. Everybody's got their eyes locked in on the Midwest. A lot of things happening. It's got a lot of people's emotions at a fever pitch. I understand what they're going through because Bears got to beat the Packers on Saturday.
They will.
There's no question in my mind.
I already got that Tucker crap that Michael Parsons in my blunt.
I like the energy you starting off with, Q, because I cannot wait to smoke
Saturday
that
night,
Green Bay pack.
We smoking that Packer pack. Smoke good, too.
What's Saturday night right there at the center of the sports universe and probably the only thing people in America are talking about right now? I got to ask this question. 90-some-odd% of Bears fans did not expect the Bears season to go the way that it did. You know, it's first season of Ben Johnson. We coming off of what we saw at Caleb last season. Most people were optimistic, but we're more so thinking on the lower end of the totem pole. Me and Q previewed the season after the schedule broke. We both thought this team was going to the playoffs. A lot of other people that I listened to, 670, ESPN 1000, and a whole bunch of other podcasters or whatnot, Brad Biggs, and so on and so forth. A lot of people was thinking more around 7 and maybe on the top end 9 wins. JJ3, I don't know exactly where you were with what you thought the Bears are going to be prior to the season started, but I'm assuming that it was more so in the lines of 8 wins, around that space, right?
I had them at 9 and 7.
Okay, 9 and 8.
9 and 8, excuse me.
Now that the Bears exceeded pretty much every Bears fans' expectation, 11 wins, won the division, 2 4-game winning streaks. Caleb Williams, first ever Bears quarterback with 3,900 passing yards in the season. Ben Johnson with a great argument for Coach of the Year. When we got the 9 wins, like, okay, this is all just icing on the cake. But now we're staring at a playoff game against those Packers. Is this season still a success, regardless of what happens on Saturday?
Definitely a success because you're in year 1 of the Ben Johnson era, and you took a 5-12 team that finished in last place and had a 10-game losing streak, and you're now NFC North champions. You had a successful rookie class, 5 contributors from this rookie class on this team. You also have a couple of guys who didn't get the opportunity to play due to off-field situations or early injury who are coming back next year. You have potential to have 7 or 8 guys that have a strong impact. That is how perennial playoff teams are built when the majority of the draft class hits and is successful. There's no doubt in my mind, whatever happens Saturday night, that this is a successful season. But I say this with a slight asterisk that if you go out there and lose at home to Green Bay, it certainly ends on a disappointing note. Successful season, nonetheless, but if you lose to Green Bay, especially considering that Green Bay did not live up to expectations, when you make the trade for Micah Parsons, you send 2 first-round picks, you are in championship mode. You paid Jordan Love, as I talked about on my solo episode, you're paying him to be an elite quarterback. He's not giving you elite play. I don't think anybody can say Jordan Love is one of the top 3 to 4 quarterbacks in the league right now. Even with Mahomes having a down year and being injured, even with Lamar Jackson having injuries and having a down year, I still can't say Jordan Love performed at that level. And it's reflected in the Pro Bowl vote. He's not a Pro Bowler. You know, at the bare minimum, when you pay a guy to would essentially be the highest annual contract until the market resets, you got to have a little bit more. You got to have a little bit more durability. You got to have a little bit more productivity. So with that being said, yes, successful season, no doubt. You lose to the Packers, which won't happen, but I guess we got to discuss that for the sake of the podcast. Then it ends in a little bit of disappointment.
Yeah, unequivocally. I agree with you. You already went through what our expectations were previously. I mean, I didn't have them winning double digits unless things really broke their way. Not only did they exceed that, they also won the division. And in your predictions, neither one of you really had them winning the division. But in addition to that, to me, What have the Bears never had in any of our lifetimes? A franchise quarterback.
Mm.
They haven't had that at all. At this point, do either of us doubt Caleb Williams' potential? Do we doubt his capability going forward as a franchise quarterback?
Doubt? No. What I'm more worried about is, will he end his career early so he can run for president? Because he's going to sweep the votes in Chicago. That's how cold he is.
He definitely got Chicago on lock. There's no question about that. But this season, to me, has always been about what is Caleb Williams' development going to be under Ben Johnson? And subsequently, what does Ben Johnson look like as head coach of the Chicago Bears? Is he going to be a head coach who commands the room? Is he going to be a head coach who oversees everything that's going on? Is he just going to be a head coach who only worries about the offense and his face is going to be buried in the play call sheet on every Sunday? Is he just going to be a guy who stands in the back of the locker room and cowers in fear in front of 53 men in the locker room? We've seen all of those things in our lifetimes.
Yes.
Damn, man, we got to drag Eberflus every week, don't we?
I'm not just talking about him.
Yeah,
We've
definitely
seen
saw that with Mark Trestman and Nagy.
precise. So we've seen all of that. And right now, Ben Johnson seems to be the antithesis. He seems to be the complete opposite. He seems to be a leader of men. He seems to be an overseer of the entire football team. He seems to be one who is changing and building up the culture of the Chicago Bears, because we've been a bad franchise for a long ass time. He's turning all of these things around. In addition to, he actually runs his own offense. He's not just copying someone else's offensive system. He came here with his own set of plays. He came here with his own identity and direction of what he wants to do on the offensive side of the football and as a football team. These are things that can sustain you going forward. In addition to Caleb's success individually as the quarterback of this team, he fell just short of 4,000 yards, which has never happened in the history of this organization. The only franchise in the NFL to never have a quarterback throw for 4,000 yards are the Chicago Bears. Everybody else has done it except us. And we're the oldest franchise in the sport. That's embarrassing, first and foremost. Caleb is going to do that. He would have did it if a certain somebody would have caught the football last week, but neither here nor there. He's going to do that next year. He's going to do that the year after. I have full confidence at this point that Caleb Williams is the franchise quarterback of the Chicago Bears. That makes the season a success. I have confidence in Ben Johnson going forward as the head coach. That makes the season a success. Now, ultimately, you cannot go out there to Green Bay and lay an egg and look overwhelmed, look unprepared, look completely interested in winning a football game on Saturday. You got to be ready to play and ready to perform. Losing the game, it won't make your season a failure. You'll still have a successful season, but it will leave a bad taste in the mouths of your fans and your fan base. So, finish strong.
You guys are kind of straddling that question a little bit, because you said, yeah, it's still a success. However, you can't lose this game. I feel like it's like this. It would be more than what you said, Q. It would be more than disappointing if the Bears lose this game. I would feel like majority of the fan base would only think about this game in the offseason. They were only based what that happened in this season based on what happened Saturday. What happens if they win Saturday and what happens next week doesn't matter too much. But if you lose to the Packers, whether it's in a lazy sort of way, or you fight all the way to the end and don't come up strong and don't come up with the win, it's a team that you should beat. You know what I'm saying? If you were playing San Francisco or the Rams or something like that, they got more experience and they probably should win, even if you're in their building. But playing the Packers, who ain't won a game in a month. 2, super unhealthy. And 3, we've seen every other team destroy them, and then they come out of nowhere and say, "Yeah, we still got y'all like that," treating us like they little brothers. Can't have that. Can't have. I think that would take all the steam out of all the great platitudes you can put on this season. Losing to that team, a team that this would be the third time you've seen in the last 6 weeks, there's no way you should lose to them. don't know how you can justify that in any way.
No, you're right. There is no justification.
So you wouldn't care about anything that's been accomplished this season if they lose to the Packers? You look at this season in the same way that last year was if they lose to the Packers?
Not in the same sense, no,
Don't straddle the fence.
because
Don't straddle that
I,
fence.
but to answering your question, would I look at this season the same way as I looked at the last season? No, because they're not the same. They're not the same way. But we talked about this, how wide open the playoff picture is, and ending your season against the easiest opponent out there that there is, against the opponent that you can least afford to lose to, that would put an immediate asterisk on everything that we accomplished. It probably would even call into question if those accomplishments were actually earnest.
There you have it. Fire Ben Johnson, trade Caleb Williams if we lose Saturday. Inexcusable. Get John Harbaugh in here. Need a hardball.
You know those meatheads, they love them hardball, man.
They love him.
I don't want to be absolutist about that, to say it's all or nothing on this one game. Because the season is it's the 5th month of the season so far. You got to take everything as it is. But this game is super important. So let's go ahead and talk about it. The injury report going into this week is looking good for the Bears. Kind of looking good for them too. Let's start with the Packers. So they've got 10 guys on the injury report. The most notable name on that injury report is Malik Willis and Zach Tom. Officially, they have 6 guys that are listed as questionable for this game. Zach Tom and Malik Willis, Dontavion Wicks, Bullard, and Warren Brinson are all the guys that are listed as questionable. Aaron Banks, Adrian Cooper, Matthew Golden, and Lucas Van Ness, they're also in the injury report, but they're trending towards playing. The number one name on this list to me, Zach Tom. He's been a limited participant all week, but did not practice on Thursday. Scale of 1 to 5, Q. How important is his availability for this game?
Scale of 1 to 5. Is he on the right or left side?
Right.
I think he's the right side.
It really doesn't matter. I'm going to say a 4. It's pretty important. The Packers have a decent offensive line with decent depth, but there obviously is a drop off from a starting quality tackle to a backup tackle, especially on the road. Soldier Field, the last time the Packers were here was electric. It was loud. The fans did their part. You put a backup tackle in there, and you're probably going to silent count. And that's how crazy Soldier Field was. Even though it's not a dome, you might have to go to silent count. It might be that loud at points Saturday night. So yeah, not having Tom there, if he plays or doesn't play, that's a 4. That's significant because even though the Bears pass rush is not where we wanted at, Austin Booker and Montez Sweat are legit edge rushers. They're not elite, they're legit. And if you put a backup tackle in front of them all night, bad things could happen to Jordan Love. Bad things already happened to Jordan Love. He probably has nightmares of that number 94, nightmares and daytime tremors. I mean, he's a sissy anyway, so he's always scared. But he's probably even more scared than he normally is about Austin Booker. So, yeah, I think when you have a backup tackle in there, your quarterback is less confident in the pocket, and your offense is less functional. So I'm going to go with a 4.
The Bears have 12 names on their injury list. 3 guys have been already ruled out for the game. 2 guys are questionable right now. Your boy, JJ3, Braxton Jones, questionable for this game. You excited? He might be back.
It's
I
your
don't care
boy.
one bit about Braxton Jones.
Is he coming back to say bye to the Soldier Field crowd, or
Pretty much.
what is he coming back to do?
Coming back to make sure his locker is packed up.
I don't even know why he would dress this game.
Because I don't even think I don't think he would even be the backup. Because if Ozzie goes down, Benedict is going in.
No, but see, you only really dress 3 tackles for the most part, right? You have your 2 starters and your swing, and then you have a backup for the interior guys. I can't imagine he would even dress. I forgot he's even on the team, to be honest with you. A couple of weeks after he went to IR, I was like, all right, I put him out of my mind. That's how good Ozzie and the rest of them have been. Not talking about Braxton Jones. I like that. The other guy that's questionable for this game, Kyler Gordon. Scale of 1 to 5, JJ3. How necessary is Kyler Gordon in this game?
Very. I don't think we can expect to see Kyler out there for 50 snaps. I think they'll keep him in the 20 to 30 snap range. He's probably legit their only NFL quality slot. Now, CJ Gardner-Johnson, I've praised him. He's done a very good job, but he's not a slot he's not a corner. He's a safety. So when you get in a slot, you're asked to do a lot of corner things. You do a blend of things. You're kind of like a linebacker, kind of a corner, kind of a safety. CJ fulfills everything necessary that for the slot from linebacker to safety, but when you get him matched up man to man on legit receivers, it can get ugly. It can get scary hours. So, and we don't need a nightmare on Soldier Field Saturday night.
So yeah, it's gotten
So-
real ugly for CJ. For Kyler Gordon to be able to play, I put it right at 5. The problem is, can we count him? Will he get pulled out of the game in warmups like he did the last time?
That's the thing with Kyler.
Warmer's been beating the Bears' ass all season, I feel like.
Wasn't it the Packer game at Lambeau when Kyler got pulled out in warmups?
Yes. Yes.
So we don't need deja vu right now. Okay. I need him to be suited up and ready to rock on Saturday night. I need him warming up at noon. I need him to be warm and ready to rock.
Well, I'm glad you said a 5, JJ3, because CJ Gardner-Johnson is out for this game with his concussion.
They've already ruled him out with the concussion?
Already ruled out. And then Ogbongbengba and Joe Trayon Shoyinka, they are also out for this game, also with concussions.
We need everybody we can get, all hands on deck. I knew CJ wasn't playing.
The other 8 guys on the injury report, they all logged full participations on Thursday. That's Janae Walker, Ozzie Trapillo, Rome, Ndunze, DJ Moore, Nick McLeod, Jalen Jones, and Grady Jarrett. So all those guys are trending towards playing. Rome Ndunze, if he's able to get out there and play, does that elevate the offense in any way in your mind? As we've seen, Luther Burden has stepped up. DJ Moore's had his game. Colston Loveland has stepped up in a lot. What does Rome bring to this game if he's able to play?
He's definitely playing. I don't think that's a doubt. His effectiveness could be in question, but he's 100% playing. In terms of what he brings, we'd argue he brings a downfield threat, but quite frankly, I don't think that's the game plan that you need to focus on is Rome Odunze and throwing the football like that. I don't believe that's the proper game plan to employ in this game against Green Bay. I say focus more so on running it, play action, and setting things up off of that. And Rome could be somebody you target off of that action, but I'm not looking at him to be a focal point of the offense. Other guys have had a next man up mentality this entire season. Someone's gone down, the next person is taking those snaps, those opportunities, and gotten those catches. So I'm not necessarily focused on Rome's return. It's great to have him. It's great to have another weapon. You want all the weapons that you can get and all the reliable hands that you can get out there. Rome's hands aren't exactly reliable at times. So again, I'm not necessarily focused on him. We can get that production from DJ. We can get that production from Luther Burden. Colston Loveland, again, we've already talked about his effectiveness, his reliability for Caleb. He's become a safety blanket and a go-to target for Caleb. So it's great to have Rome back. It'll be nice to target him downfield. I want to see him get open, get some catches, get some yards after the catch. But he's not the one that I'm really locking in to set this game plan up if I'm Ben Johnson.
So that's a layered question for me. You ask, does Rome elevate the offense? And you ask, is it good that he's coming back? So that's a layered question because I have to see what the game plan is. Going into the season, Rome was obviously being pushed as the wide receiver 1. The passing offense is kind of being built around him. And as the season is revealed, or as the season progressed, and I'm going to reiterate, I really liked this guy before the draft. I really like Luther Burden still. He is a shifty, twitchy athlete. After the catch, he's extremely dangerous. He's extremely dangerous with the ball in his hand. He shows things that Rome has not showed in his time in Chicago. Rome has not been a guy to make you miss after the catch. He doesn't put that type of pressure on the defenses. He was billed as a vertical threat coming out of Washington. We haven't really seen that unfold. We have not seen that level of pressure that he puts on opposing team secondaries. So while having Rome Odunze in the fold is always a good thing because he's a legit NFL receiver and he's a talented guy, it's layered because I don't want this game plan to shift from not focusing on getting the ball in Luther Burden and Colston Loveland's hands. I think they're much more dynamic athletes. They're more dynamic players. As you saw in the San Francisco game, they can be tough matchups for a defense. So yes, bring Rome back, put him on the field, but I like the focus to be on what we got going with Luther and Colston. Even DJ Moore is a auxiliary target. He's kind of falling down, but I like DJ Moore's potential and explosiveness over Rome. So yes, having talented receivers in your arsenal is good, but I want the offense to be scaled back from focusing on Rome. Not just because he's coming back from injury, but because I think there's other guys that are elevating above and there's guys that are more dangerous. And Ja'Day Walker's done a good job. And Ja'Day Walker's a guy that's almost 6'4". So I kind of like what the Bears have had going without Rome. And going forward, they're going to have to figure out how to delegate these targets and how to incorporate everybody into this offense if everybody is to return next year.
According to Courtney Cronin, my favorite beat reporter, Rome Odunze is off the injury report and will be available to play against Green Bay. No injury designation for DJ Moore, Ja'Day Walker, or Isaac Trapillo either. So all great news in the injury department for the Bears. Now, here's the Kyler Gordon part. Kyler is still on IR. At this point, we're recording this at late Thursday evening. It's still an opportunity for him to be activated from IR Friday and be able to go. Ben Johnson said that during practice today, he looked good. We'll see how he looks again towards the end of the week. But they are moving in the direction of having them both back, both being Rome and Kyler Gordon. So I would love to have those guys back. I know you guys agree with that part.
Yes.
Definitely.
Let's get into this preview.
Why do growing businesses love working in Slack? Let's ask Christy at Ari Bikes.
Running things in Slack saves me so much time.
AI summaries save 97 minutes per week. What say you, Rox from Gosney?
Slack helps us build community, it helps us build connection.
Your partners, vendors and customers all in one place. Take us on home, Ashley from Caraway.
If we didn't have Slack tomorrow, I would explode.
Well, let's not let that happen. Visit slack.com/podcast to get 50% off Slack Business Plus.
Prime's exclusive wildcard playoff game is Saturday night. Jordan Love and the Packers take on Caleb Williams and the Bears. Not a Prime member? Sign up for a 30-day free trial to stream the game.
That's going to be caught for the touchdown.
NFC North rivals square off in the latest chapter of the NFL's oldest feud. The Packers and Bears in Prime's exclusive wildcard playoff game. Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Only on Prime. Sign up for a 30-day free trial today. Restrictions apply. See Amazon.com/Amazon Prime for details.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
I did say all hands on deck earlier this week. Tiff would have loved to be here, but she's superstitious. She informed me that every time she's done a preview with us, the Bears have lost. So we don't need that. We don't need that mojo.
I commend Tiff then. Sometimes you got to sacrifice yourself.
She a team player.
For the good of the team.
She a team player, man. That's what it is.
You know what? I see why she locked in with Jesus like that. Bro sacrificed himself. She sacrificed herself on for them grave, on Jesus them grave. Like she did what she. She's not gonna be happy when she listens to this episode, is she?
Not gonna be happy with you.
No, she is not gonna be happy with you.
My business is stay out of it.
That was JJ3 that said that. So
Yeah,
in case you listen to the audio.
You got it on record. We got it on record. We know who said what.
Don't
Said
upload
what?
this one on YouTube so she can't see my face. She we gonna put this one on
No
JJ3.
voices. She know voices.
She's definitely going to hear it, and she's definitely going to blow me up about it. We went through the injury report for the Packers. They have a quarterback on there, Malik Willis, not Jordan Love. I want to ask this question, kick it off right. Scale of 1 to 5, what is our confidence level the Bears can slow down Jordan Love this time around? Because in the two previous, let's say 5 quarters he played the Bears this year, he's 25 of 30, 65% completion. With 106 quarterback rating, 311 yards, 3 TDs, 1 interception. Scale of 1 to 5. Q, what do you got?
I'm gonna give that a solid 4. Shout out to Angelo and them. Lost in the hoopla of the explosive comeback at Soldier Field is that before Jordan and lost in the Packers tears, let me say that, lost in Packer Nation tears about their little quarterback leaving and going to the blue tent and his vagina being too swollen to come back out, is that Jordan Love only led the Packers to 3 points. He only led them to 3 points in nearly 30 minutes of game. So I think the Bears, Dennis Allen made good adjustments to him last time. He did have a couple extended drives, but they didn't culminate in points. I think Dennis Allen made adjustments for him last time. I think Dennis Allen will make adjustments for him again this time. I'm not as worried about what happened against the Lions. I think if you read between the lines, it was a very vanilla game plan on both sides. They didn't game plan for the Lions. They didn't do anything extraordinary. They didn't want to put a lot of things on film. So I'm not worried about the last performance for the offense or defense against the Lions. I think the Bears defense comes out and they make a statement in that first half. I think they get after Jordan Love. I think we see the Jordan Love that can make errant throws. I think you see a pick in that first half. I think you see a pick and a sack. I think the Bears defense has a solid showing against Jordan Love and the Packers. I can't give them a 5 because the Bears defense has not earned that this season, but I'm going to say solid 4. I think we're going to see a hyped up Bears defense, but under control, the key word. And I think the adjustments will show, and we'll see more of what we saw in the game at Soldier Field. I don't think we'll have a repeat of what happened. And even in the game in Lambeau, I think the Packers only scored 7 points in the second half, right?
Yeah.
So Jordan Love did all of his damage in the first half. So I have faith that the Bears have kind of figured out Jordan Love, and we'll see what we saw in the second half of the game in Lambeau in the first half, what we saw in the game in Chicago.
JJ3, your confidence level, the Bears have figured out Jordan. We'll figure out Jordan Love Saturday.
Well, I'm a little less confident than Q is, so I'm gonna go at a 3.
You a Toyota fan? You drive a Toyota or something like that? What? Explain this. Why are you less confident?
Drive a Toyota. That's funny. The Bears defense is not good. We suck on defense.
There's that.
Be real with it. We trash on defense, bro. So even though we took the ball away, intercepted Jordan Love in the first game in Green Bay, he still threw for what? 3 touchdowns that game, right? 3 touchdowns in that game.
Yeah.
And they were all deep. What I expect Dennis Allen to do is I expect him to continue with this bend, don't break defense. He can't afford to be aggressive because you don't have a good pass rush up front. So I expect him to try to keep everything in front of him and not get beat deep again, which is what we saw in Green Bay. They did a great job of that in Chicago. They made them work their way down the field slowly but surely, and then they held up in the red zone. I don't expect that to still work the same way. I expect Jordan Love is going to get his completions in, and he's going to get his touchdown passes in, and they're going to score. I don't expect Green Bay to be 0 for 5 in the red zone once again. We're going to see some points put on the board on Saturday. We're going to see Jordan Love make some solid to pretty damn good throws on Saturday, even with the inclement weather that we're expecting. I don't have a lot of faith in the Bears to get pressure on him, so he's going to have time to make throws. I don't have faith in some of these DBs that we have on our squad to be able to hold up in coverage. That's not a great recipe. So, yeah, I'm sitting at a 3 for that.
We've seen this team twice already, so we know who the Packers are. We know who the stars of that squad is. We understand what what's in store. But I'm going to hark on something you just said there, JJ3. Getting to Jordan Love, get him off his spot, and pressure. They've been calling Caleb Williams Houdini for his ability to avoid sacks, but he actually took more sacks this season than Jordan Love did. Jordan Love was only sacked 21 times, even though the offensive line ain't really that good. They allow him to get pressure a lot. They don't allow the Bears to pressure him, but on the season, the pressure rate for the Packers was 24th in the league, but he was only sacked 21 times in 15 games. And we went through this the first game, Q. Against the blitz, Jordan Love is like damn near Ali out there. I don't even know if I should use that comparison, but he if he see that blitz, he gonna light some shit up. And maybe it might help us that CJ Gardner-Johnson is not available to play the nickel, so he can't get picked on in this game. Because if we know one thing about Dennis Allen, he's gonna play some man coverage, and people are gonna have to just nut up. Shout out to Caleb Williams.
Can he please just do the cover 3? You got 12 variations of it. Can we please do the cover 3, please, this time? I don't want to see Christian Watson galloping 40 yards down the field. I just don't.
Neither do I, but I suspect we're going to see it at least once.
If I was to ask you all, which facet of defense the Bears defense needs to dominate in to be successful this game, is it on third down or is it in the red zone? Which one is a must for the Bears to win this game?
Third down, because that was where he killed us in the previous games. On third down, we could not stop a third down in Lambeau
at all.
I'm gonna go with third down because in Lambeau, I don't believe the Packers didn't spend much time in the red zone. They had explosive plays to score. I think Christian Watson had 2 explosive plays to score. So, and 2 of them were on third downs, I believe. We got to stop them on third down. We can't give any more freebies on third down.
Reiterating his point, on third down, they killed us before. And in the game at Soldier Field, they didn't really punt. We only stopped them in the red zone. And we were able to come back because we stopped them. But handle your work on third down. When the Bears defense earlier in this season was actually watchable, when it was actually performing at a somewhat consistent level, they were executing on third down. The problem we've seen in recent weeks, the Bears have not executed on third down and not gotten off the field in critical moments and situations. We saw that in Green Bay. We saw that in San Francisco. We saw that against Detroit. The only game they've executed on third down in recent memory was Cleveland. You got to execute on third down. You have to put them in third and long. You have to make it uncomfortable at times. And goodness sake, please stop doing that soft-ass coverage on third down when you got them in third and long. Get up on the line of scrimmage, jam somebody. Make them work for it, please.
The Packers are the second best team in the NFL on third down. Jordan Love has a quarterback rating of 110 on 3rd and 7 or greater. I agree with you all. It's very crucial that the Bears break that comfort level that they have on third down. The last time these two teams played, the Bears were better than successful. They were perfect when the Packers drove the field and got into the red zone. 0 for 5, turned them away each time. You did say, JJ3, you're tired of the bend, don't break thing from Dennis Allen. I don't know if that's an actual defensive philosophy. Maybe it was for Lovey in the Tampa too. If you deploy that type of defense, you are going to do a lot of bending but not breaking, especially when you get closer to the.
Okay, fair. I was not a fan of that Tampa 2 defense.
Hey, you know what? Relax. That Tampa 2 defense put us in the Super Bowl. Cool out.
Two of the best defenses in modern history emerged from that Tampa 2 and the 2005 Bears and the 2006 Bears.
Mm-hmm. That's facts. But back to this red zone. The Bears kept them from scoring a touchdown in the red zone in that game, and that aided them a lot in their comeback endeavor. You think that is something that they will be able to do again?
I don't. I already said that they're gonna score some points against that. So I don't expect.
But in the red zone specifically, though,
I'm including the red zone as well. I'm not expecting them to shut them out in the red zone entirely. Not this game. They're going to convert in the red zone as well. So be prepared.
The Bears are ranked 7th best on third down in the season. They did not have the best performance down the stretch. In the last 4 games of the season, 2 games against the Packers, 49ers, and Liners, those teams converted 27 of 47 opportunities on third down. That's damn near 60%. Just me reiterating about Tu's point. If the Bears want to win this game, third down is where they have to make their money.
Absolutely. It's critical. Critical to execute on third down, defensively and offensively. You got to be able to get your money's worth on third down, man. Offensively, defensively on third down, you got to execute. So I don't know exactly what the game plan is going to be on third down on defense. Like you said, I mean, it really fell off a cliff these last 4 games. I'm not exactly sure why. I mean, we dealt with injuries all year. Tremaine Edmonds was out at times. Third down defense still held up. We're going to look back at the end of this game, whatever happens, win or lose, and I promise, we're going to look at third down and see whatever the conversion rate is on both sides of the ball. That's going to tell the story of who won, minus any turnover.
Over under, Q. 1.5 takeaways for the Bears defense.
Over.
Over under, JJ3. 1.5 sacks for the Bears defense.
Under.
I don't like that.
Which one of those you think is more important for the Bears for them to have success? A takeaway or 2 or more sacks?
Turnovers are more important. I mean, this Bears defense has lived off turnovers the entire season. They've made their money off of it. Nashawn Wright is literally making money off turnovers. He don't get paid because of turnovers. So that's the most important thing. I'm not relying on this defensive line to go out there and put a lot of pressure on Jordan Love. I would absolutely love to see it. And if it happens, it's going to be because you've got some exotic blitzes dialed up. It's going to be because Kyler Gordon's back in the box and you can employ him in that way to get blitzes in and get a sack on Jordan Love. We've seen Kyler Gordon work well in the box at the line of scrimmage. But turnovers is where it's at. I mean, we led the league in turnovers. That's what we got to do again. Find a way, whether you get interceptions, whether you get fumbles, punch the ball out. Shout out to Peanut Tillman. That's going to be the more important.
Jordan Love threw 5 interceptions this season, 2-2 in those games in which he threw an interception. One of those games he won was against the Bears. That's correct. Q, why did you say it was you don't like the fact that JJ3 is down on Bears being able to get 2 sacks?
I think the Bears are going to need to get 2 or 3 sacks to set the tone on defense and to enforce that Jordan Love's not going to be able to sit in the pocket all day. And I wanted to look up, I'm trying to see how many sacks they got on him in the win. Well, I know, so we actually didn't sack Jordan Love at all in the win. We sacked Malik Lewis.
His last play was a sack, wasn't it?
No, he actually got rid of the ball. He was not sacked. Or he crossed the line of scrimmage. I can't remember, but it didn't say we sacked him. Malik Willis was sacked twice. I think the magic number, and I think the Bears got to get at least a pair of sacks, at least. Or if they don't get a pair of sacks, it's got to be a lot of pressure that forces Jordan Love into turnovers. So I want to see the Bears defense leave the game with a couple sacks. I think in playoff football, the margin of error is so slim. You're looking at 14 best teams. Generally speaking, the 14 best teams. Shout out to the Panthers. I don't think they're one of the 14 best teams, but they're in the playoffs due to winning the NFC South. But I think one of the things that separates you and can swing the momentum in games where, quite frankly, you're playing against good teams, evenly matched teams. I think sacks and turnovers are kind of thing that swings the momentum one way. So I think the Bears need to get turnovers. They need to get sacks to swing the momentum. Because like I said, you're in the playoffs. Everybody's good. Everybody's a good team in this field. So how do you turn that, how do you turn the tide in your advantage? You get the quarterback on the ground. You take the ball away. So I want to see the Bears get over 1.5 sacks.
Last thing on the defense before we flip fields. Tyreek Stevenson. He going to play?
Yes. He'll get some snaps. Might see him out there on
Is he necessary?
With the way Jalen Johnson looked in man coverage, if Dennis Allen was to play man coverage, I think he is necessary. I think Nashawn Wright is performed admirably at corner this year, but I think, as JJ3 said, he's literally lived off turnovers. I don't think he's a guy that you can rely on to just, stop the other team's opposing receiver. I think he gives up plenty of catches. I think couple of them, earlier this season where T. Higgins and A.J. Brown just made tremendous plays. I think they were in the Vikings game. There was a tremendous play being made. So I think he's been better in coverage than the average fan would note or remember. But I think there is a place for Tyreek there. He brings the physicality. He sets the edge in the run game. He's not afraid to mix it up. He's not afraid to get physical. He's probably the Bears' most physical corner. He's built like a safety, and he'll hit you. So I think in a playoff game, I wouldn't mind seeing Tyreek out there because I know he's going to be physical. I know he's going to be aggressive and run support. And despite his up and down, I think he is a solid corner in coverage.
Dennis Allen was asked this question earlier in the week. He said that Stevenson didn't play this last game because he is currently behind players who are, quote, performing better than he is. But he did also say that everybody's going to be needed, Tyreek included, for Saturday. I heard something from Brad Biggs earlier this week that this issue because when back with the previous coaching regime, the Eberflus coaching regime, Tyreek Stevenson had to be pulled a couple of times because he wasn't all the way. And again, I'm quoting Brad Biggs. He wasn't all the way locked in on the game plan. That could be the reason why he had a soft bench in this last week. But I agree. I mean, I agree with you, Q. I think he's a little bit too good, and the Bears are not at the most optimum health. But we'd just be benching players out of the healthy players.
Yeah, but I did propose that possibly his lack of playing time might have been due to something off field or maturity related in the game review. Tyreek Stevenson obviously has some growing up to do. I mean, we don't know him personally, but we've seen him receive silly personal fouls during games. We all know what happened during the Hail Mary. You over there jawing with fans instead of being locked into the game. We know in some of the practices under Eberflus, I believe it was Tyreek that got kicked off the practice field for fighting. He likes to mix it up with his own teammates. He gets too intense. He gets too amped up. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if the soft benching was due to some maturity issues because even the previous weeks, Stevenson is not getting the playing time he got earlier in the season. That's obviously due to Jalen Johnson being healthy. He was still getting snaps. And like you said, he's too good of a player to just not be utilized. He's good enough to be on the field. Brad Biggs is a professional, and he always has his ear to the Bear streets. He breaks stuff before the rest of the media does, and he's pretty accurate. I'm going to agree that it was probably something that they didn't like that they saw in his preparation that they didn't like. That's what makes most sense to me.
Let's move on. Bears offense, Packers defense. I think the number one thing that we all talk about with the Bears offense is can they start hot? Or can they not wait till the third quarter to score any points? What's your, I don't even want to ask you, scale of 1 to 5, can they score before the third quarter? But what do you think is the reason that slows them down?
It's real tough to say, especially against Green Bay, because in the game that we played in Chicago, I don't believe we got off to a slow start. I think we got off to the perfect start. They got the ball first. They moved the ball down the field. They got into the red zone. We stopped them on fourth down. We took the ball the length of the field. We got right into the red zone, and then our coach, for some unconscionable reason, decided to roll Cole Kmet under center, snap the ball between his legs, and it flew 20 feet over Kyle Monanga's head, and you turned the ball over. That play right there completely affected the entirety of the game going forward. We missed out on points. We lost all of our momentum. The energy in the crowd completely turned away from you. And now you got to build all that momentum right back up again. if you score a touchdown right there, honestly, I honestly feel like we would have won that game going away if we had scored, but we didn't. So it ended up creating an unnecessary sense of pressure around the Bears, and then they got tight. So what I'm expecting to see in this situation is, and expecting is the wrong word, what I'm demanding to see in this situation is, yes, start the game with more energy. They've talked about it. I've heard Caleb talking about making sure that he comes out dialed in, ready to go, focused, doing whatever he needs to do individually to get the team ready to play and to make sure everybody collectively is all pulling the rope at the same time. So I'm demanding and expecting to see that. But also need the head coach to not do any more dumb shit. Like, this is the playoffs. This is not the time for the cute stuff. Get cute when we up 20. That's when you get cute. Don't get cute until we up 20 in the fourth quarter with 4 minutes left to play.
Yeah.
Don't
get cute up 20 in the third, please.
This is not the time to mess around. No. Save all the cute stuff for next year. Don't get cute here.
Can you imagine the Bears lose this game on some cute shit?
Yes, can imagine it.
That would definitely put a damper on the off season. Ben, you the homie. You came in, you did your thing. Don't tweak.
Please don't
Please
tweak.
don't tweak.
Straight up. I'm sure
tweak.
he don't know what tweaking means. But don't do
find out.
If he do something dumb on Saturday, he definitely gonna.
We can't have no food shit. Not this weekend. That's why I was telling y'all earlier. This game has too much stakes on it. You can't lose this game, especially doing that dumb shit.
Still need my get back from 15 years ago. That's still living rent free in my head. I still need my get back from them 15 years ago. I'll never forget that game, and not for good reasons. Mainly because that was a ripe year for the Bears to steal a Super Bowl win. The Steelers weren't going to beat either the Packers or the Bears in that game. The Super Bowl was coming out of whoever emerged from that NFC Championship. And the last vision I have before turning off the TV and fighting back tears is Aaron Rodgers accepting the George Halas Trophy in the middle of Chicago on the lakefront.
Don't remind me of that.
I don't need to see Jordan Love trotting off the field heading to week 2. He needs to go to Cancun. First of all, before he goes to Cancun, he needs to go see his esthetician and get his bikini waxed, because I know what time Jordan Love is on when he's on vacation. So he needs to go get his vaginal wax, and then he can head to Cancun so he can look cute out there with the rest of the ladies.
Yeah, I see. In the review of the Lions game, I pointed out that the Bears have been trending in the wrong direction as far as running the ball. At one point in this season, they were the best rushing offense in the league. They ended the season as the third best, depending on what stats you want to look at. The last 3 weeks, they went from 26 carries from the running backs to 22 carries to 16 in the last game. Scale of 1 to 5, you guys. How important is it that they, and take into consideration the weather that is supposed to be on Saturday night, but how important is it that they establish a dominant running attack in this game?
15.
Whatever the highest number I can give on a scale is the number I'm giving.
Look, man, that's the key to the game.
I think we already talked about the defense. JG3, I'm a psych shooter. You said the defense is ass. Well, that's not an exact quote. That's what you said. The best thing you could do to help your struggling defense is to keep them off the field. If you can run, we saw how Derrick Henry hunched the Packers defense.
That was much more than hunch. He came in the bedroom after a night of drinking, flipped on the light switch, ripped the cover off the Packers, and just went to town. No foreplay, just straight inserted. I mean, that was tough to watch. That was not safe for work.
I enjoyed it.
That was hardcore porn. That was definitely rough. Whatever you search in that bar to get them long strokes, that was one of them. What was the guy that would cuss out the actresses Lexington Steele? That was a Lexington
Lex
Steele
Steele.
performance. Yeah, that was Lex Steele. He don't run. Derrick Henry stroked them and told them not to run while he was doing it. And he pinned them down and did it repeatedly. I almost felt sorry for the Packers, but then I remember they asked for it. Derrick Henry came in that bedroom off a 7, a honey pack, and Henny. It popped one Viagra for good luck that he got from the gas station. that was a tough watch.
No Vaseline.
None.
There's no reason to think that Kyle Monungai and DeAndre Swift, with this offensive line, as healthy, can't do the same thing. I'm not saying that they should have 200 and some odd. In fact, I am saying that. What you did to the Eagles is what you got to do to this team. I don't have any illusions that this defense is going to be something different than I've seen this season. This entire season, they were not good. You can go all the way back to, I think September was the last month. It was actually a decent defense. There's no reason for me to believe in my most rational mind that they will be good come Saturday. We talked about Jordan Love, the type of defense that Dennis Allen likes to call up. Jordan Love feasts on that. We got to help Bro out. We got to help Jalen, Kyler, because Kyler's going to be in a pitch count. He didn't have soft tissue injury after soft tissue injury. We don't need them out there for. How many plays did the defense play last week? 70? 73 snaps? Jalen Johnson was out there for 73 snaps. We can't have that again. And we talk, I didn't even bring this up. Over the last month, Packers twice, and 49ers, they average 37 minutes of possession. We got to flip that script. We got to be the ones to be on the field 37 minutes. More than that. Can't have Jalen, Kyler, and all their soft tissue injuries on the field for 70-plus plays. Can't have Brisker and Bayer, who should be in Orlando as Pro Bowlers, but they've given up the most touchdowns in the league at their position. Can't have them out there for too much long, because the longer you're out there, the more vulnerable you are. We already know Montez Sweat, Booker, Dexter. Depending on them, the calls have. I'm not even gonna hold my breath. How about we do what we know we can do? Let's just run the ball. Run the ball.
Yes, exactly.
Run the ball. Run the ball.
That's the key, man.
Right down their throats.
Don't stop running the ball.
Other than running the ball, Caleb Williams has been, as you called him, JJ3, a franchise quarterback. What is your expectations for him in his first career playoff game?
What he's shown us all season is the ability to rise in the big moments. When it looks like the Bears are in trouble, when it looks like the chips are down, he can come through. When the lights get bright, he performs. That's where he gets the Iceman moniker. That's where he gets all these little nicknames from, Cardiac Caleb, all of that. All of that's dope. All of that's great. And I'm expecting more of that on Saturday. In his first playoff game, to step up on the field and be ready to deliver in whatever capacity that is. If he needs to go out there and perform in a shootout, then I'm expecting him to go out there and perform in a shootout. If he needs to go out there and play a ball control, hand the ball off, make some timely play action passes, and throw for $175, then I'm expecting him to do that too. But I'm expecting him to go out and perform at a high level and be efficient in the process. And don't leave no plays out there on the field. No interceptions, no fumbles, no turnovers from the quarterback position. That's what I'm expecting to see out of Caleb.
Bears offense ranked 9th in the NFL, 25 points per game, 6th most yards per game in the whole league. The Bears committed the fewest turnovers in the NFL. Packers were 3rd fewest in the NFL. So I do think this game is going to come down to turnovers. The Bears offense also 7th best on 3rd down. Packers are a little bit better than that. And they're the 12th best in the red zone. Remember how the season started? We were going up and was ranting and raving about this team cannot convert in the red zone. Now they ended the season in the top half of that. So we've done some growing in that area. But back to Caleb Williams. Nearly got 4,000 yards. Only sacked 24 times. All of that immense improvement from his rookie season, but it's that completion percentage. We can't leave any other church's money on the floor.
Yeah.
That 58% completion percentage has got to be a stark improvement for this game.
Correct.
They have drops. I'm talking about Luther, Colston, DJ. Guys got to catch what's hits them in the hands. Caleb's got to not sail passes. It's going to be very windy. They're talking about 25 miles per hour.
Yeah.
If not more. But he's got the arm talent.
And in addition to the drops, we've seen DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monunga let a couple catchable passes. They dropped a couple passes. But I like to point out, in addition to the drops, I think Caleb has to throw a catchable ball at times too. What I mean is, if you got a running back open in the flat, you don't have to line it in there. You could take something off. Make it a catchable pass to a back. These guys aren't wide receivers. They don't have the hands of wide receivers. So I want them to use the discernment of when to add zip in it and when to take a little bit off. Because I feel like there's been a couple times where guys did drop balls, but I felt like Caleb didn't need to put that mustard on there. That was your opportunity to yell mustard, by the way, because I know you rocks with Kendrick and mustard like that. But no, he could take a little mustard off a couple of passes too. It's got to be team efforts to not have drops. It's got to be cohesive thing between Caleb and the wide receiver. So, you know what I'm saying?
He also needed to take off and run when it's time.
Yeah.
A lot of times,
He's been doing that. He's been doing that well this year. Taking advantage of his athleticism. You said what?
Still, there's times when he gets hesitant in terms of just taking off and going. Sometimes he just take off and just go and not wait. I understand he wants to make a play down the field, and I appreciate him.
Seen that. I've seen that the last couple of weeks. I think Caleb could be.
Yeah. You got to go.
Yeah, because he really broke the Giants' back with some of those runs in the fourth quarter. I think there was another game where he was really, really elusive and really dangerous getting yards up the field. I can't remember what game it was. I think Caleb finished with almost 500 rushing yards, right?
Yeah, he was high for something. Yeah, probably close to 500.
I did hear something interesting while I was getting ready for this preview. If you take out Caleb Williams' throwaways and some of the drops, his completion percentage is actually closer to 70%. So that is something we can hang our hat on.
I saw another stat, and I meant to upload it during my Shador rants. Caleb is amongst the league leaders in quarterbacks who've had drop passes. I didn't realize that. I think the Bears have had they're number 6, and I think they've had 18 or 19 drops. It was something like that. That's a significant amount of drops.
We talked a lot about Colston Loveland in the last episode. He's been cooking this last month. Do you think that he's in line for another big game after his career best game against the Lions, 10 catches, 91 yards? You think he's in line for another game in that fashion?
I have no reason not to believe he can replicate what he's been doing since he's been getting significant snaps. He's a mismatch. He is a matchup nightmare for any team. He's too fast for most linebackers to cover. He's too long for most safeties to cover. He's a tough matchup. He can operate as a traditional tight end out of a 3-point stance, or you could split him out wide. So I see nothing but good things for Colston Loveland in this game and moving forward.
I agree with that. I mean, Green Bay's defense is, I want to say, middle of the road in terms of defending a tight end position. So even more opportunity for him to eat and go out there and put up some real solid numbers.
Let's go back to this third down conversation we was talking about, how crucial it is for the Bears defense to not allow Green Bay to get comfortable on third down. We talked about how the Bears were actually 7th in the league on third down themselves. But the last 3 games, they converted only 2 of 12 third downs. I think third downs, and in addition to actually running the ball like you mean it, those are the 2 things in this game that are going to dictate who wins. Ben Johnson, I know you listening. I know they be listening to Hallis Hall. We got to do both. Dennis Allen, Ben Johnson, we got to own third down. We have to own the rushing attack. Okay. It's going to be crazy windy out there. It's going to be 36 degrees at kickoff. Not exactly cold, but by the time second half rolls around, that 36 degrees might be 29 degrees.
Thanks.
And by the lake, if it's windy like that, 37 degrees, that is cold. So we got to play Bear football. So since Micah Parsons has left with a season-ending knee injury, they've actually plummeted. They haven't won a game without Micah Parsons. The defense is actually allowing 30 points per game without Micah Parsons, 9 points higher than when he was on the field. They are giving up almost 400 yards per game. That's more than 100 yards than what they were giving up beforehand. Micah still leads that team in almost every pressure stat, metric, or whatever, and he hasn't played in a month. But the most glaring thing that the Packers defense has pretty much quit doing is they've quit stopping the run. They gave up 300 yards to the Ravens. Don't let Jerry Jones hear this. But since Micah Parsons got hurt, they're giving up 70 more rushing yards per game, giving up around 171 every game since he's been gone. So I'm going to just hammer it home again. Over-under, 30.5 design rushes for the Bears offense on Saturday.
Design. Yes.
Design.
Yes.
Just straight handoffs over. Yes.
Yes.
That's the game plan I'm looking for.
The Bears average 144 rushing yards and 5 yards per carry in the two games prior. Well, the two games they've seen the Packers this season so far. So we cannot have the last three games in which the Bears had been trending down in their rushing attempts. Let's just throw that out the window. Let's go right back to what the Bears used to do is Bear football. I know they're talking about building a dome somewhere, but while we still play outside, emphasis on somewhere, but while they still play outside, let's remind everybody that this game is better when it's cold and the elements play a factor. I mean, this is where you get home field advantage, right? Not so you don't have to travel, but so that the ops had to play in the weather that you're comfortable in. True or false?
True, but for this game, not only do Green Bay play in just as bad weather, they might play in worse. So I don't know if the weather is any advantage against the Packers. They're quite comfortable in the elements too.
Yeah. They don't play in the wind that we play in, but they're going to get cold.
Yeah.
They're going to get snow.
Yeah, they're not along a lake.
It's not.
They're in the middle of a farm.
It's not an advantage.
Where is Green Bay? Has anybody been to Green Bay?
Why would anybody go to Green Bay?
Why would I go there?
Good point. Yeah.
I'm talking about how the Packers defense has fell off since Micah Parsons, but a person that people don't talk about a lot is Devontae Wyatt. He was critical to that team because he was the last guy standing on the interior after they traded Kenny Clark to Dallas for Micah Parsons. Without Micah Parsons and Devontae Wyatt, the Bears have no excuse not to run exactly what Derrick Henry did, which is be a stud horse out there on the field and let everybody come up and get a turn.
Facts.
Let's make our predictions. They have the Bears as a 1.5 point dog at the crib, total 44.5. JJ3, what's your prediction on this game?
The meathead in me wants to just say it's going to be a complete blowout, 41-0 on the lakefront. But the cynical nature that I have, I got the Bears winning 21-14. I don't see a huge blowout. I don't necessarily see a ton of points.
You, what you think?
I'm going Bears. I also want to be a meathead and call it a blowout. I'll be more conservative. I got Bears 31-17. Too close for comfort, though.
What's wrong with being a meathead?
Not at all.
If the total 44.5, if that was the total in the previous two games, it would have went under both times. So I'm a sucker for trends, especially if I'm gambling. I'm going to take the under, but I'm also taking the Bears win. I am siphoning all the energy from Billy Goat's Tavern, from Home on a Hoagie, from Harold's Chicken, 87th Street. Baba's, 71st Street. All honeysuckles back in the day. Mr. Ricky's,
Digging in the
50-yard
crates right
line.
now.
You want to
Secrets.
be in the trenches, huh? We
Every
can't
You
go. We
having
can't go
flashbacks.
downtown. We can't do no STK. We can't do no kitchen and cocktails.
Nah,
No.
we can't. This is a grimy game. Like you said, we in the trenches.
Yeah.
Maxwell, 75th Street. I'm getting all this energy from everywhere where you when you think trenches. That's exactly where we coming from. White Castle, 79th and Stony. Stony Mo, shout out to them. All that energy, I'm pulling from it, and I'm sending it right to Soldier Field. Come out west. Taste of Brie, Jerk Taco Man. The Maxwell's right there on 290. Right there. What's that on Independence? Right there at the circle. I'm taking all this energy. I'm getting my Goku on, putting all this into a spirit ball, and I'm sending it right to Soldier Field. And with that strength right there, that is how the Bears are going to manhandle the Packers Saturday night, 7 p.m. on Fox. Because why would you watch Amazon? The game right there on 32. All that energy is going right there to Soldier Field. All the energy from Mike Dicker, Mike Singletary, Willie Galt, Sweetness. Back when the Bears ran the rivalry, Brian Urlacher, Peanut Tillman, Jerry Azuma, back in the Lovey years, ran the rivalry. All of that energy, he coming right back to Soldier Field because a new era of Bears running a rivalry starts Saturday. I got
Let's
the
get it.
Bears 23-10. Bear down.
I love it. Bear down.
Let's go. Bear down or get down.
Thanks for listening to this latest episode from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan Channel. Don't matter if you listen to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or watch it on Twitch or YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, share with a friend, hit the notification bell so you never miss a drop. And to all the guys from Chicago, we say three things. Bear down, go Cubs go, and sell the team, Jerry.